Hey guys, this is No Solution. I'm Scott. As has been the trend, I guess, in my Saturday videos, just kind of a bunch of different topics today. First of all, I wanted to say R.I.P. to Charlie Dominici. If you don't know, he was the singer for the first Dream Theater album, When Dream and Day Unite. Kind of not highly regarded among a lot of fans. I think kind of unfairly. Charlie was a good singer in the wrong band, I think is how Mike Portnoy put it, and I totally agree. Didn't really fit with what Dream Theater wanted to do. He was trying to do kind of to my ears, kind of a John Arch style vocal on this, and I don't think that was really in his wheelhouse. And Dream Theater was quite influenced by Fate's Warning, so I'm guessing maybe that they might have pushed him towards that. But still a really solid album, and I feel like I really always felt bad for Charlie because he was very dedicated to the band. He'd just gotten a Majesty tattoo, their logo here, when the band let him go. And reasons for that, besides his vocals not really fitting in, he was in his mid to late 30s at this time, and the rest of the band were in their early 20s. And 10, 15 years when you're my age isn't that big a deal, but when you're in your 20s and this guy could almost be your father, I can see that being kind of weird for a band dynamic. But yeah, I just re-listened to this. It'd been a while. It's a really solid album, and actually the songs I didn't care that much about, Light Fuse and Getaway, and the ones who helped to set the sun, were the ones that really jumped out at me this time, and I kind of appreciated more. And I think it's because those are the ones that Dream Theater didn't, or rarely did, with James LaBrie. A lot of the other stuff they'd done with him later on, so they feel more like James's songs now, and these just feel like Charlie's songs, and I really did appreciate them. He did come back to music, and he did a trilogy of albums in like the mid 2000s. I have not heard them. I've heard good things though, so eventually I'm sure I'll hear them. But yeah, rest in peace, Charlie Dominici. Okay, I just thought I'd show you some stuff that just came in case, you didn't know or might be interested. New Bewitcher, not really new. It's a compilation of their demos and with some additional new tracks. It's called Deep Cuts and Shallow Graves. So this is obviously still shrinked. I just got it in. You've got demo versions of the entire first album, and then some songs that didn't make it on the first album. And then 2 new songs and a cover of Bastard from Motley Crue. So if you're a Bewitcher fan, maybe you didn't know this came out. I just kind of stumbled on it. I'm a fan and I didn't really know about it. So can't recommend it. Haven't heard it yet, but I'm sure it's good. New High Spirits just came in too. Safe on the Other Side. High Spirits are a high energy rock band from Chicago featuring Chris Black of... who you know from Dawnbringer or Pharaoh or many other projects as well, and his own kind of solo project, Professor Black. Big fan of this band, so really looking forward to listening to this one. I'm unless something went drastically wrong, it will probably be on my year-end list. And this one that John at Rock Metal Plus was talking about, did a whole video about this band. And when he was talking about the new album, it's called Sanguivore. It just came out, I think, middle of October. He mentioned Jim Steinman, and that perked my ears up. I'm a sucker for Jim Steinman, and he's absolutely right. The first song, Further Than Forever, is like a 9-minute tribute to Jim Steinman's writing style, and those kind of operatic choral vocals, and kind of the piano accents, and just everything. But anyway, they're at least on this album, a gothic rock band, sort of leaning into horror punk at times. I know I've heard that the first 2 albums are quite different from this, and I have not heard them, so I can't really describe that. But I would say they remind me of the Vladimirs in certain points, another really awesome horror punk band from Ohio. There's obviously some goth, 80s hard rock. Jim Steinman, as I mentioned. One of the songs is like kind of a Nick Cave song from like the Murder Ballads era. Just really fantastic. I would say definitely check it out. It's not metal, but we can't listen to metal all the time, right? So yeah, give it a chance. Next, I wanted to kind of go over in a little more detail the newest Gravewurm, Poisonous Kingdom. I really love that photo. I think it's a really cool album cover. Really kind of harkens back to the old days of just kind of a creepy photo of like a ritual and candles and skulls and whatnot. So the main album has 9 songs. The opener, Cursed Souls, is a really perfect mid-paced groove, and kind of sets the tone. It's a little bit doomy and a little bit moody. I feel like this whole album is a bit doomier than the last few. It's not doom metal, but just kind of a doom vibe to it. The next song, Nightside Tower, is the first to feature these super melodic leads that Kevin puts on there. Not all the time. He doesn't overdo it, but when he uses them, it really kicks the song up a notch, in my opinion. The title track has a weird, those leads do like a weird counterpoint to the main riff that just is a really different vibe, not typical Gravewurm, in my opinion. Kind of mixing it up a little bit. Then the very next song, Until Night Returns, where it's just a classic stomper for the kind of stuff Gravewurm has been doing, like I would say the last 10 years. It's a highlight on there for me. Ossuary of the Damned, the 8th song. It's about 5 minutes long, which is pretty long for Gravewurm. Very sorrowful. And this is that was the one that didn't grab me right away, but it's definitely growing on me. It's nice to have kind of those different style songs on here. And then closes with As Cold Winds Return, a very triumphant riff, and another kind of instant Gravewurm classic for me. One thing I did notice that I don't know if it's a criticism, it's just something I didn't care for, but a couple of the songs just end like super abrupt, like they're just cut off. There's no fade out. There's no, I don't know. It just feels like the tape recorder stopped or something. But whatever. It's not that big a deal. And then, as I'd mentioned before, if you order it now, you get a bonus EP, Companions of Carrion. And that is 4 tracks. It's very short. It's about 12 minutes or so. There's an intro. The next song, The Die Is Cast, is pretty short. It almost feels like a fragment to me. Not quite finished. Then the next song, Demon Dogs, is much more up-tempo and has a really cool chaotic guitar solo that's kind of different for Gravewurm. And I can see why that wasn't on the album. It's a bit more up-tempo than the mood of the full album is, so I understand that. The last song, Exiled Idols, to me has the same vibe as the album, and I love that song. I think it's might be my favorite out of all of these songs. So I would say, if you're thinking about getting this, get it now so you can get that the bonus EP, and in my opinion, get the best song of the batch, Exiled Idols. So that is Gravewurm, Poisonous Kingdom. And all right, music is done. This is books and movies. So this publishing house, Encyclopocalypse, puts out movie-related books, kind of like making of, and then they also do kind of those old-time novelizations of certain old horror movies, like newer authors writing novelizations of old horror movies. Like they just did one for Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, which written by Jeff Strand, who's very good at comedy. So I'm looking forward to reading that. I did not buy that. They were having a sale, and I bought the Fright Night novelization. Now this is not new. This came out in the 80s when the movie came out. But it's the reason I wanted it is written by John Skipp and Craig Spector, who were kind of a big deal in horror fiction in the 80s, and I think into the early 90s. I believe they had a falling out and don't work together anymore. But I just wanted to show you one of their books, The Scream. This is kind of a satanic panic, evil heavy metal band book. Very enjoyable. And I think something they don't do anymore. We've got like a fold out in here. And then I can't really show you on camera. It's very fragile, so I don't want to rip it, but it folds out. And you've got like a little poster inside your paperback. I always thought that was cool. When I was a kid and saw that, I was like, oh, that's so awesome. But yeah, I recommend Skip Inspector if you've never read any of their books. I really like this one, and The Bridge, kind of their eco horror book, is probably my favorite. But so I got that, and then I also got this new novelization of Manborg. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Astron 6 or Manborg. Astron 6 were / are, I don't know if they're still really working together, a collective of filmmakers in Winnipeg, Canada, and just awesome horror / comedy. They have a ton of short films on YouTube. I'm going to link their channel down there so you can check some of them out. If you want to, I would highly suggest the short film Cool Guys. It starts out as like an 80s sexy beach comedy, and then goes way off the rails very quickly. So I would definitely recommend that. But this movie is kind of their post-apocalyptic cyborg RoboCop / takeoff. Hell invades the earth and takes over, and then we're occupied and overrun by demons, and only the Manborg can stop them. Super, super, super low budget. But just watching it, and then even then listening to the commentary and hearing like the few resources they had and how they used them. Like they had one army helmet, so they shot everything with the guy wearing the army helmet, and then when they were done with that, they spray painted it black and then used it for one of the villains for all his scenes, and just really, really innovative in making the best use of your resources, and kind of inspiring actually. It's very funny. And the effects, especially for the resources they had, are really cool and really effective. If you have heard of the film Psycho Goreman, that's probably the most well-known film connected with these guys. Steve Kostanski directed that, and he also directed this, and he was part of that collective, and they always helped each other out on each other's films. So, yeah, check out Manborg. And I've not read the book yet, but I'm sure it will be fun. So that is it for this time, guys. Thank you so much for watching and putting up with my rambling nonsense. And as always, CM Punk is a piss baby. Later.